Browns fans, it's almost regular season time, so if you are the biggest Cleveland Browns fan out there, maybe you hate the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Ravens, or even the Bengals, whatever the reason may be, you are in the right spot right here. It's the Cleveland Browns Report, so go ahead and subscribe so you can get all the latest Browns news and rumors heading into the 2021 NFL season. Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report. I'm your host, Matthew Peterson, and we're going to get you all set for Week 2 of the NFL Preseason. The Browns are welcoming the New York Giants to Cleveland for Week 2, and the Browns are the favorites. You check out the odds down below. 5.5 favorites over the Giants. Low over-under count. Game is Sunday afternoon, and boy, do I miss some good Cleveland Browns football. 1 p.m. kickoff up in Cleveland, so go ahead and make sure to watch the game. But before then, how about you be a genie in the bottle? Predict the score. Let me know. Who do you think's going to win this one? You got the Giants or the Browns? Hop down in the comments right now and let me know what the final score will be. If you're thinking the G-Men, get out of here. And if you're thinking the Browns, let me know by how much. Browns-Giants preseason, first game in Cleveland of the season, and I got a couple players for you guys to keep an eye on, to watch for in this preseason matchup, because remember, it's only 3 preseason games this season, so we're nearly 2/3 the way through, and the first one up is just, it's the training camp star, MVP, whatever you want to call it, DPJ, Donovan Peoples-Jones. He is just, honestly, has been spectacular. He's a Mad Lib. You can fill out whatever adjective you want to use for him. Last week versus Jacksonville in the first preseason game, 3 receptions, 26 yards. Sure, those numbers don't jump out to you, but the receptions themselves were difficult. They were at good times, first down, key moments, everything you want out of your rising star in limited time on the field, and that's what you really are after in preseason. Not stats, but looking for moments. So, DPJ, this upcoming game, he's got a real chance to prove it with the starters. And what do I mean by that? We didn't see any of Baker Mayfield in the first preseason game. Handful of starters as well. I'm expecting Week 2 to be more of a dress rehearsal for the regular season. That's usually what you got in Week 3 of a normal 4 preseason game set schedule. So I'm thinking we'll get some more starters, especially Baker Mayfield and some other key players in there. I don't know if we'll see OBJ in there just yet, but DPJ will surely get some good time with the first team. Up next, we got David Njoku. This is a tight end that has really been another big talking point of training camp right there with DPJ, of one of those training camp stars to keep an eye on. He was a huge success during Thursday's joint practice with the New York Giants, had a couple big touchdown grabs. He's having a great camp all around, and here's the big thing. You guys know Baker. You know he loves his tight ends. He works best out of those sets, and so when you're the Cleveland Browns and you got Austin Hooper, David Njoku, Harrison Bryant, and you got a lot of great pieces to work with, a lot of opportunities for those guys to thrive and excel. Next guy to keep an eye on for in this preseason game, how about we give some love to the Hogs up front? It's Jedrick Wills Jr., the second-year guy out of Alabama, drafted 10th overall in the 2020 NFL Draft. Now, he did miss some time in Thursday's practice with an ankle injury, but this is a warrior. He just battled through it. He simply didn't want to sit out, got back out there. So the sophomore's trying to solidify his spot in this offensive line, but more than that, anchor down the left tackle spot, which we'll get to in a moment. But here's why I love the offensive line across the NFL. These guys are just monsters. Look what he had to say when he got dinged up. If you get dinged as a receiver, you can't run the same exact route. But as an offensive lineman, no matter what happens, we can play with 3 or 4 dislocated fingers and still have the same job. So we're trying to name ourselves as the toughest people on the field and put everybody on our backs. Guys, I played 1 year of high school football, and it was a dislocated finger that took me out, and that's why I'm standing here. Not Jedrick Wills Jr. He is just a beast. And look at this offensive line. This makes me salivate. Just get goosebumps over how good the Browns can be this season. You're looking at a handful of Pro Bowlers. Conklin moves over to right. Wills moves over to left. This offensive line is going to be what carries the Browns offense, in my opinion, throughout the 2021 regular season. Up next, we got Anthony Schwartz. Here is a player that has missed time throughout training camp with a hamstring injury, but the Browns are happy to get him back. A former third-round draft pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. At this point, his roster spot, roster spot. Yeah, words are hard. Roster spot is all, confirmed. He's going to make it. Third-round pick, no doubt about it. At this point, you're just trying to solidify yourself a little more on the offensive depth chart and get some more playing time into the regular season. So the Browns very happy to get Schwartz back from a hamstring injury. The hamstrings have really plagued the Cleveland Browns throughout the training camp. We'll touch upon that more on the defensive side. But guys, I need you to let me know, who are you most excited for in the second week of the preseason for the Browns? Is it DPJ, or could it be some love up front with Wills Jr.? Maybe the breakout tight end, former first-round pick Njoku, or how about the latest NFL draft pick, Anthony Schwartz? Get down in the comments. Let me know who you are excited for the most in Week 2 of the NFL preseason against the New York Giants. All right, guys, let's talk some defense now. That's right. Time to go to the other side of the ball, and this is a side of the ball people are really excited for, and you want to know why? You don't have to go back very far at NFL drafts. This past draft class, the Browns picked up, in my opinion, one of the biggest steals, and that was linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. You knew this one was coming, folks. I mean, it's that simple. He was flying all over the field against Jacksonville a week ago, and he was rewarded for that this week in practice. He got some reps with the first-team defense. Now, he's a linebacker, and this is a linebacker group that's had some injuries. We're looking at Anthony Walker and Mack Wilson, so maybe that helps JOK move himself up the depth chart a little bit, but regardless, sacked Gardner Minshew in the first preseason game. He's simply been one of the biggest bright spots on the defense. Second biggest bright spot? Maybe it's Greg Newsome II, the first-round draft pick in the past NFL draft. How was he against Jacksonville? In my words, he was good, but not great. Had a lot of hype going into it, myself included. And did he deliver? Sure, but maybe wasn't the biggest takeaway, wasn't the biggest star. And here's a guy that's trying to earn a starting role, trying to beat out Greedy Williams for that second cornerback position. And when you're good but not great as a rookie, that usually does not bode well for you. On the other side of things, for the defensive backs, Grant Delpit, he missed some time earlier in training camp, battling a hamstring injury. Only had like 9 individual reps. He's coming off that torn Achilles he suffered in training camp last year. And first day back from this hamstring injury, what does he do? He re-aggravates it again. Really tough news. Probably one of the biggest news stories come out of Browns training camp as that begins to wrap up. So no real idea of how long Delpit will be out for, but it's worth noting. And this brings us to the Browns safety depth chart, because that's what I'm really watching for in the second preseason game against the Giants. When you're already a little short there with no Delpit, the second-round pick a year ago, and Ronnie Harrison Jr., who just got back from a hamstring injury, you're going to want to watch out. Well, who else can really make some noise? You're looking at Richard LeCounte at the bottom. He had an interception in the first week, so maybe he can try and move himself up the depth chart. Browns probably looking at 4, maybe 5 safeties overall. So keep an eye on that secondary throughout the game against the Giants. But going back to Grant Delpit, let me know, guys. Get down in the comments. Pick a week. What week will Delpit return? I think he's for sure just throwing out the preseason. That's out the window at this point. Hoping for week 1 against the Chiefs. May bleed into week 2 or 3. It's hard to say. Not really sure how serious this hamstring injury is. Almost time for preseason week 2. Back to Sunday football. Saturday football is fun. Don't get me wrong, but who are we fooling here? Sunday football is where it's at. Browns are home. First preseason home game of the season. And they're favorites. So get down in the comments and predict the score, because I got my predictions here. I'll show you them now. But first, get down in the comments and predict the score, what you think it will be. I'm thinking Browns over the G-Men, 24-15. Why? I don't know. It's preseason, so 1, you got to check the box of a weird score. Did that with the Giants getting 15. 2, pick your favorite team, because if they lose, who cares? If they win, we celebrate like it's the regular season. So give me the Browns over the Giants, 24-15.